CITV Sports presents Eastern Pennsylvania Finals in high school basketball, featuring the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials and the Williamsport Millionaires. Good evening and welcome to sold-out Hershey Park Arena in Hershey, Pennsylvania, where tonight over 7,000 very vocal, very excited fans have gathered for tonight's PHWS state semifinal high school basketball doubleheader. I'm Ross Shuffleberger. Joining me, my colleagues Dave Auerbach and Brian Dempsey, and we'll be bringing you tonight's first game of the doubleheader, courtesy of CITV, Colonial Instructional Television. In tonight's opener, we have the girls' Eastern Final, featuring the 22-4 Lady Millionaires of Williamsport Area High School versus the 27-4 Lady Colonials of Plymouth Whitemarsh. The capacity crowd here at Hershey Arena is buzzing. If there's any question about how important this game was, Dave, you need only to have been witness to the large lines outside waiting for tickets and the huge stampede of people into the arena when the doors finally open to know that this game is immensely important. We should have an intense and extremely well-played game tonight, so be sure to stay with us. The Lady Millionaires come into this game as the District 4 champs, Dave, 22-4 overall, and have had the reputation as an excellent girls basketball factory. They produced 7 straight District 4 titles. What can we expect from this year's Williamsport champs?
Well, Ross, Williamsport is an extremely aggressive team, which makes up for their lack of size, much like that of Upper Dublin. And we know PW had some trouble with Upper Dublin during the course of the season. The Millionaires have innate player assault that puts constant pressure on the opposing teams, with trapping defenses and full-court presses. Williamsport has had a pretty easy time, though, in the playoffs, beating Freedom in the first round 69-58, Downingtown 49-41 in the second round, and they just came off a big win against Allentown Allen, where thousands of fans are gathered here, Ross, to cheer them on. It should be a big game.
Lady Colonials come into this matchup versus Williamsport really flying high after big victories over undefeated Manheim Township in overtime 2 games ago, and last Saturday's double-digit victory over Central Bucks West. They have now progressed farther into the playoffs than any previous Lady Colonial team. Can we expect this pressure to hurt the Colonials tonight, Dave?
Well, Ross, I'm sure the girls will be nervous tonight at the start of the game, but they've shown so much poise this year. I can bet you that right after they score the first 2 points, the butterflies will be gone. We'll have to look for the Colonials to stay in the half-court game with Mason's back towards the glass and Hartnett on the wing popping her 15-footers. I don't think the Colonials will want to get into a running game with Williamsport. Williamsport are a very quick team. But they will show the Millionaires a 1-3-1 press, a press that destroyed the District 3 champs, CB West, in the Eastern Pennsylvania semifinals.
Now we'd like to go down to the floor to join our third colleague, Brian Dempsey, on the court.
The key match of this game will be Debbie Hartnett versus Maureen Kennedy. Both teams need these two to get off to a quick start, and will be looking for big point production from both. And in the center, it will pit Brenda Mason, a senior standout for PW, against Karen DeLulo, a junior for Williamsport. Now, DeLulo is a junior and she is a little bit inexperienced. Look for Mason to take advantage in the paint. And leading both teams at point guard will be Sue Thomas for the Colonials and Natalie White for the Millionaires. Now, both girls have a lot of confidence, a lot of poise under the pressure, so if one of them falters, it could spell disaster for either team. And the Colonials, they came out, say, 45 minutes before the game started and fidgeted around for 15 minutes and looked a little bit nervous, whereas Williamsport came out with their new Do-It sweatshirts and seemed pumped for the game. But the Colonials just came out a couple minutes ago. And seemed to have a subtle confidence, so looks to be a good game for both teams. Ross?
Thanks, Brian. Fans are still filing into Hershey Park Arena, which should be totally filled by the time the second game of tonight's doubleheader starts between Chester and Carlisle, the boys' Eastern Final. Some other key factors in tonight's game, Dave. We know for the Colonials, Debbie Hartnett has really been on a tear. She's carried the team pretty much the last 2 games, been the high scorer the last 2. What do you see as some key factors?
Well, she had 24 points against CB West, scoring 10 points consecutively for the Colonials between the third and fourth period. But Ross, there aren't too many key factors. Both teams are very good, have good coaches, and Bob Koch for the Colonials, Frank Scarfo for the Williamsport Millionaires. But the foul trouble will be key. Sue Marks picked up 2 early fouls against CB West. They kept in the game. Here you can see Debbie Hartnett shooting. Great outside shooter, but I was saying the foul trouble, it's been a key all year. Colonials have been able to stay out of it, and it's been able to work to their advantage. The Millionaires have not been shooting foul shots well at all this season, at 59% team. So late in the game, we're going to have to look for the Colonials to foul the Millionaires if need to. And the Millionaires, they'll test them, let them go to the line and see what they can do.
I think that the game two games ago for the Colonials was really a key for them in coming away with an overtime victory over undefeated Mannheim. They were down 13 points at the end of the first half and were able to come back and win the game in overtime. That's a big key, and that they now know that they can come back from a big deficit.
Well,
as for Williamsport, they haven't really had a tight game thus far in the playoffs.
Excuse me, Ross, but during the Coatesville game, PW was 0-5 in Coatesville. It was like the Coatesville jinx. They hadn't won a game there, down by 13 at halftime. The girls came in and they knew that if they lost, they'd be out of it. That's it, the season's over, the finale, terminated. But they came back, and as Coach Kochkin Sr. screamed, he told his team to have confidence, to keep fighting. And they came back, they showed what a determined team they are, and they fought all the way up to where they are now at the finals in Eastern Pennsylvania.
As we said, Williamsport has won 7 straight District 4 championships. As the buzzer starts, and we'll be ready to get underway shortly. They've won 7 straight. They're not at all inexperienced in this type of game. This is, as I said before, also the first time Plymouth Whitemarsh has advanced to this level. They're 1 game away from the state finals. It was a goal they set at the beginning of the year. Some of their other goals have been put aside, losing districts to Upper Dublin. But the big one is still up for grabs, and this will tell the tale tonight. At center court, co-captains for Plymouth Whitemarsh, Debbie Hartnett and Brenda Mason, and tri-captains for Williamsport, Natalie White and Maureen and Melissa Kennedy. Are preparing to take the coin toss at center court. The last few games, Brenda Mason has not really been a factor in the first half. Against Mannheim Township, she was relatively quiet in the first half. She did come on to put on a very good second half, sparking their comeback. Last game, she was not much of a factor. She didn't really need to be much of a factor, as Hartnett picked up the slack very well.
Ross,
now we'd like to throw it to our PA announcer here at Hershey Park Arena.
Eastern final game. This game tonight brings together the Colonials of Plymouth Whitemarsh out of District 1 with a record of 26 victories with 4 defeats, and the Millionaires of Williamsport from District 4. Their record 22-4. Home team scoreboard is Williamsport. The visitors Plymouth Whitemarsh. And now the starting lineup for the Colonials. Starting at guard, wearing number 14, a 5'6" sophomore.
Whitemarsh will be the visiting team tonight. We noticed a slight change in the starting lineup for the Colonials. Sharon Fagan, who had started the last 2 games for Plymouth Whitemarsh, is being replaced by Tanya Lean. That's one thing about the Colonials, Dave. They do not go very deep. Basically, they have the same 4, Marks, Thomas, Mason, and Hartnett. And then after that, it's a little bit of a question. Their bench is not very deep, and so foul trouble would be very devastating. They've got to make sure that Hartnett and Mason, the 2 big members of the Lady Colonials, stay out of foul trouble.
Well, if they press early, they're going to have to watch for White of the Millionaires. She's a very quick young lady. Her father coached the district champs of Williamsport a year ago, and she's able to break the press. We'll have to watch her reach in fouls, Nolene and Thomas, and hopefully they won't get in foul trouble.
The Colonials will be in the blue, the Williamsport Millionaires will be in the white. Jumping at center will be Karen Zalulo, the center for Williamsport, and Brenda Mason, number 50 for the Colonials. Mason, Hartnett, Thomas, Marks, and the lean. The starting 5 of the Colonials: White, Dickey, DeLulo, Kennedy, and the 2 Kennedys for Williamsport. Marks picks up the loose ball at center court, and the Colonials will control.
They're opening up in a 1-2-2 offense.
There's a look at the starting lineup as Marks tries to go to the hoop, and the ball is out of bounds. No call. Hartnett will be throwing in from baseline. Brings out to Thomas out front. Coach Koch calls Sue Thomas the best ball handling guard he's ever had. She gets it over to Mason, who puts up the jumper, no good. Boxing out is Maureen Kennedy, coming down with the rebound. Brings it ahead to Natalie White, who runs the show for the Millionaires. PW playing a 1-2-2. Dickey tried to get it inside. The ball's batted away. And a pass by Kennedy is picked off by Mason. She gives it to Thomas. No score with 7:14 to go in the first quarter. Hartnett on her patented jumper. It's no good, but she draws the foul from Natalie White. That is Hartnett's definitely best shot. Dave, we see her put that up continuously. She makes the little fake, goes to her left and puts up the jumper.
That's her bread and butter, Ross. She can shoot that big, that 20-footer, and she's so big, which brings out the taller players of the opposing teams. And that allows another tall player, 5'10", Brenda Mason, to dominate the boards down low. Great versatility on the PW offense.
Hartnett will be at the line shooting 2 with no score here. 7:10 to go in the first. First is no good.
She's a good foul shooter, Ross, but I think the jitters here in the opening minutes are getting to both teams. Wait till the first basket's made, and maybe we'll see an aggressive style game.
I know for sure that the Lady Colonials have not played in front of over 7,000 fans, so the opening jitters be very important for them to get out and get some points here early. Hartnett converts the second, 1-0 Colonial lead. Williamsport moves it up very quickly. Dickey, being guarded by Mason, bounces it in to Melissa Kennedy, who makes the move, but she walks. Tries to make the move inside, but she committed the travel. First turnover, and we're going to have a substitution. Williamsport shuttles 8 players, and Terry Williams will be coming in, number 21. As should is Melissa Kennedy, after that travel by Melissa Kennedy.
Well, yeah, you see the press here, 1-3-1 press. Breaking easily by PW. Thomas brings it down, dishes off to Mason for the easy 2.
That's what they needed to do. They pushed past the pressing defense there. Easy basket for Mason. 3-0 Colonial lead. White, along with Dickey out front, into the corner to Williams. No good. Ball bounces out far out to White about the foul line. She brings it back to the top of the key. Move by Maureen Kennedy is good. Maureen Kennedy with a nice pump fake. Got the defenders into the air and put it in for the first Williamsport points. Thomas pushes it up very quickly, gets it to Hartnett for the jumper. No good. Mason there in position, scores. Brenda Mason following up very nicely. No one picked her up, and she was just clear for the easy layup. 5-2 Colonial lead.
I'm surprised, Ross, with the 1-2-2 defense. Coach Koch was surprised he could get away with it against CB West, being a taller team. He's using it here today, and it seems to be working quite well.
Terry Williams there hits the jumper from a good range, bringing Williamsport to within a point. I'm sure Plymouth Whitemarsh was willing to let's see what Williams could do. And she buried that jumper. They'll have to be thinking twice now if they let Williams in the wide open now that she proved that she can make the jumper. As the pass into Thomas and a foul by Williams right there. Terry Williams picks up the second personal foul in Williamsport. As aggressive defense is going to bring out those kind of fouls, and that's why to play that he's going to have to. The Williamsport coach Scarfo is going to have a deep bench, and he does. He has 8 players that he has no qualms about using.
Well, it's wrong about the press. It's now 1-3-1. It's a man-to-man, and no one's covering the inbounds passer. They have a person long near half court in case of a long pass.
As Aline wheels into the center, bounces it to Marks. Marks looking good D, and stolen away by Natalie White. So good defense there, cut off Marks. Tried to get it to Thomas, and White was there to make the steal. Williamsport with a chance to take their first lead. Maureen Kennedy in the corner, dishes it out front to Williams, who shoots again and scores. Williams, from just inside the top of the key, buries the jumper, puts him up 6-5. She has 4 points. Thomas brings it up, breaking it pretty easily. Sue Thomas, an excellent ball handler, very few mistakes from her. Mason passes it into Hartnett, puts up the short jumper, it's good, and Colonials back on top by a point.
Ross Williams is a 45% field goal shooter. She can 2 so far, and she averages 8.5 points a game.
We're going to have to watch her a little more carefully now, as she seems to have a very good range. Content to push the ball around the perimeter. Natalie White back out to Tanny Dickey. Number 22. Into the corner to Williams, and back out to White, who misses the jumper. Mason skies for the rebound and brings it down. Good rebound there as Thomas tries to get it ahead to Hartnett, and the ball's knocked away by Karen DeLulo, number 20.
Costly pass attempt there by Sue Thomas. She has to watch out and make sure she doesn't telegraph her passes.
Thomas working around the perimeter, throws it into Mason, and back to Hartnett. PWS seems to have some size on him. Hartnett with a nice move there. Puts them up 9-6. Colonials by 3. Debbie Hartnett with a nice move. We're not used to seeing her drive to the hoop as much as putting up the jumper, pulling up and shooting. But she took it to the hoop there and scored. PW does seem to have a little bit of a height advantage, and they might try to work that to their advantage. Inside, Kennedy puts it up, misses, gets her own rebound, puts it up again, it's no good. And Aline comes down with the rebound. 2 shots there by Maureen Kennedy, none of which were good. And Tanya Aline in the paint comes down with the rebound. Colonials with a chance to increase their lead to 5. Marks in the corner, puts up the jumper, no good. Aline again with the rebound, but they call her from behind on a push. So Aline picks up the first personal for the Colonials.
Personal foul call.
Questionable foul there, Ross. Looked like Aline had good position. The ball just floated over Williams' back, and she got control, but referees see it different.
Melissa Kennedy checks back in for Williamsport, and Tammy Dickey will step out. Coach Scarfo shuttles them in and out, keeping them fresh and able to run that tight defense that they run. Continuous movement from Williamsport, and that is definite advantage over the Colonials, who don't have the depth. Williams puts up the shot. This time it's no good, and Mason again getting good position on the boards, comes down with the rebound. Hartnett wheels in. No good. Mason with the offensive board, and she's fouled by DeLulo. PW controlling the boards thus far. Hartnett and Mason using their size, especially Mason, able to get in there for the offensive board on the miss by Hartnett, and then she was fouled by DeLulo.
It was a good heads-up pass by Sue Thomas. She saw Debbie Hartnett breaking towards the basket off the missed shot of Williams. Williams has the green light, and she's shooting 30 feet out, 25 feet out, just setting up bombs. Let's hear a replay of that last basket.
Mason at the line. Makes the first. Brenda Mason has somewhat of a maligned reputation as a foul shooter, but when in the clutch situation, she has really produced. And I expect her to really be a little more concentrating on her foul shooting today, as this is farther than PW has ever gone, and every foul shot is important. As she misses one there, Kennedy easily gets the rebound, brings it ahead quickly to White, and pushes it up the center, where she's stopped by Aline. Williams dribbles over to Maureen Kennedy, back out to White. And over to Melissa Kennedy, tries to pass to DeLulo, but it's picked off by Sue Thomas. 10-6 Colonial lead, biggest of the game. Pass inside to Marks, who scores. 12-6 Colonials, and they're really using their height. They're going over the top of the Williamsport players with high passes, looping it in there, and PW's been able to get the position. Marks there with the easy layup. 12-6 Colonial lead.
Well, Coach Frank Scarfo's making some quick substitutions. He might have to call a timeout soon.
Melissa Kennedy answers right back, driving right down the lane as PW's defense broke in the center. And Kennedy made a good move, slipping into the lane and scoring. The pressure defense steals the ball away from Aline. And Terry Williams with the hot hand scores again to cut it to 12-10. Mason brings it up quickly. Breaking the press, putting it up, no good, and the rebound goes to Natalie White. And suddenly Williamsport, in the span of a few seconds, has a chance to tie the game. Great pass there by Kennedy over to DeLulo. A touch pass from Melissa Kennedy to DeLulo ties the game at 12.
That's what Williamsport's used to doing, the fast break. Bang, bang, they hit the basket in the layup. PW's got to slow down that half-court offense and get it to Mason or Hartnett. They've been controlling the boards thus far, and they get down low, they can do even better.
Thomas puts up the jumper, it's no good, and Maureen Kennedy comes down with the rebound. So with 1.5 minutes left to go here in the first quarter, it's 12-12. Williamsport putting up 6 straight points here to come back to tie the game at 12. And they're going to hold for the last shot.
They're trying to pull PW out of their zone right now.
White just standing at half court with the ball tucked under her shoulder.
PW must attack. PW must attack because it's 12-12 score. It's tie with Millionaires have the ball, so PW has to come out of their zone. Great coaching techniques by Scarfo.
1 minute left here in the first. And Alina's come out now to try to pressure. Almost gets a hand on it there, but White very cautious with the ball. White, Williams, and Melissa Kennedy.
They want to go man to man, Ross. They feel they have the quickness to beat PW. They don't have the size. It's been proven so far. Mason just dominating on the boards. They're holding the ball. Great strategic move.
Down to 35 seconds to go here in the first. And I'm sure they'll start bringing it in about 20 or 15. They'll hold the ball for another 15 or so seconds.
The fans seem not pleased with the performance. We'll have a lot of Carlisle fans here for the second game. Live green. They want to see a fast-paced game.
White over to Kennedy from the corner. She's been hot. She puts it through. Coach Kosh immediately calls timeout with 6 seconds to go in the first. But Terry Williams has done an outstanding job here in the first period. Dave scoring 8 points out of the 14 Williamsport. 14. 2 subs for Williamsport here.
Number 23, Tammy Dickey, now returned to the lineup.
Dickey and Michelle Robinson are making her first appearance, have checked back in. Colonials have 6 seconds to try to get the game tied. The pass is too long, and Williamsport might have a chance to put it in. White from the top of the key, bangs it home. And Williamsport has come back to score 10 unanswered points and take a 16-12 first quarter lead. An impressive comeback there by Williamsport at the end there. Dave, last 3 minutes they put together 10 unanswered points and now go in with a 16-12 lead into the second quarter. Now we'd like to go back down to the floor to our colleague Brian Dempsey.
Here with PW down 16-12 at the end of the first quarter, I think what PW needs to do more is get the ball on the right side to either Sue Marks or Debbie Hartnett. The 2 times I saw Hartnett get the ball down low underneath, she had no problem getting it in. Their coach, Williamsport's coach, Scott Scarfo, had no problem seeing this as he quickly took Kennedy out and replaced her with Terry Williams. And Terry Williams has done a fantastic job so far leading the Williamsport team with 8 points.
Brian is correct. Terry Williams has really been the major offensive factor here for Williamsport, as she's been carrying that long-range jumpers. Dave?
She wasn't even scheduled to start today's ball game. She's come out here, swished, didn't even touch the rim on any of her shots. They stalled the ball for the last minute and a half, trying to bring PW out of their zone defense to try to go man-to-man because they know they can't match up underneath the boards. PW is grabbing every rebound in sight.
Careless inbound pass there at the end with 6 seconds left. Ball got away from Thomas, and Williamsport, Natalie White, very opportunistic, picked up the ball and canned the jumper. Tap in the middle is picked up by Williamsport's Melissa Kennedy. She picks up the ball as it looped around. It's in and out. She gets her own rebound inside, no good. Ball's battled for, and Hartnett comes away with it. So PW fortunate there as two close jumpers wouldn't fall. Marks, wheels to her left, puts up the off-balance shot and scores. Good shot there by Sue Marks, cuts the deficit to 2.
Might have been a foul on that play too. Nice driving move by Sue Marks. She's seen it all year. She has the baseline, a patented move down there.
Kennedy, again, trying to get it inside. The ball's been batted away a few times as she's tried to do that. Hartnett comes away with the steal there on the errant pass from White. Gets it to Thomas, who back to Hartnett, and the foul committed there by Tammy Dickey. Pretty good fast break there by the Colonials. It's Hartnett to Thomas, back to Hartnett, and the foul by Dickey stops the easy layup. 16-14 Williamsport lead. Let's see Marks' last shot.
You see her driving to the hoop, left hand, puts up the right strong, off the backboard and in for 2. Hartnett, you don't usually see a big girl driving down on the fast break, taking the wing, but she does, and she does it very effectively.
1 of 2 thus far today from the line. First one is good. And Hartnett with her second foul shot will have a chance to tie the game. 7:14 left to go here in the first half.
Hartnett has five points right now. 1 for 2 from the foul line, or 2 for 3, that rather.
Misses the second, and Jalulo comes away with it. Jalulo, White, Dickey, Kennedy, and Williams in there right now. Maureen Kennedy. There's the 2 Kennedy sisters for Williamsport. See a lot of action, Maureen, number 41, and Melissa. And there's a shot by Williams, way off the mark, an air ball, and Thomas comes down with it. She gets inside quickly to Mason, who turns around, puts up the turnaround jumper, no good, off the front of the rim. DeLulo comes away with it, stolen away by Thomas, though. Thomas pulls it back out.
Wise move by Suzanne.
She cross courts it to Mason, who's looking for someone to pass to. Good defense here by Williamsport. Aline lets the ball almost get away from her, but she retains possession. Gets it to Thomas. It goes to Hartnett. We'll see if she tries to go in. No, she gets it back to Aline. 16-15 Williamsport lead. Bounce pass to Mark. She makes a short move. It's blocked, but no foul.
Well, Ross, if you notice the PW offense, they keep moving in circles, in motion. Marks and Mason are picking for one another and going through the middle. As you see Hartnett and Thomas going through the top of the circle with Aline. So everyone's moving on offense, looking for the open person off the picks, and unfortunately they can get a layup if they're lucky.
Maureen Kennedy picked up the personal there. Melissa Kennedy comes in for her. Marks at the line, shooting 2. She misses the first. That's one thing with the Colonials. They have an added offensive threat when Sue Marks is asserting herself. She's been seeming to not have any reluctance to put up the ball tonight, Dave, and she has been pretty effective thus far. 6:20 to go here in the first half, and Marks' second foul shot is good to tie the game at 16. Williamsport brings it up quickly, and Terry Williams, not afraid to put up the shot, puts it home.
First person in double figures.
Terry Williams, the last 2 shots have been antithesis. One was an air ball, the other was a perfect jumper. And here she is on the steal, taking it to the hoop. It's good. 2016, Williamsport jumps out to a 4-point lead again. Aline breaks it nicely up the middle, but it's stolen away. Stolen away by Melissa Kennedy, but she's called for traveling right after the steal. Fortunate for PW is Aline, a little careless there.
Well, we've seen Sue Thomas break presses by herself, but Aline went through 2 players, saw a 3rd player, and just dribbled right into her hands. And very costly, could have been a costly turnover.
Mason putting up the jumper, no good. Hartnett with excellent position, puts it up and in. Debbie Hartnett getting excellent offensive position, cutting the deficit to 2. 2018 Williamsport lead.
Yeah, they got the stall again, Ross, trying to bring PW out their 1-2-2 defense, and they had the right to do this. PW must go out. The rule is, if you have the lead, referee now calling 5 seconds for delay of game. PW players must come out and approach the opposing offense.
5 minutes left to go here in the half, and Williamsport not rushing things at all, forcing PW to come out of their zone. Fortunately for Williamsport, Terry Williams has been able to hit the outside shot. If Williams had not been able to get those outside jumpers, they might have had a very tough time. This time they break it very easily. Melissa Kennedy getting the open layup and putting Williamsport back up by 4.
Perfect execution by the Millionaires. Williams has 12 points right now.
PW having awful trouble with the press right now. Natalie White puts up the jumper from the foul line, no good. And PW gets the rebound, but there it was again. They've been having problems getting it past half court, Dave, last few times up.
Well, right now they're not passing well off that zone. They have to pick for one another. It's a man-to-man press. So you got Mason there for the easy 2. But off that, sorry, Ross, but off that press, they have to pick for one another and cut long. We've seen it during the Upper Dublin game earlier this season where Mason broke long, scored 6 points off baseball passes from Debbie Hartnett, and maybe we can look for that later in the ball game.
They have been able to work inside very easily thus far here in the game. 3:51 left to go here in the half. Timeout is called by Coach Koch. Oh, a technical foul, excuse me. Technical foul on Plymouth Whitemarsh for lack of action. So they had been warned, and the Colonials did not come out and force Williamsport out of their stall, and a technical foul was assessed. Tammy Dickey will be shooting it, and she makes it. 23-20 Williamsport lead.
Well, they were given a warning, and PW just refused to come out of it. Coach Koch tells players, don't worry about it, go out and hustle. Let him take care of the defense. Stay where you are.
Sharon Fagan is checked in for Brenda Mason right now. 23-20. Williamsport leads with 3:45 left to go here in the first half. Kennedy puts it up from the corner, no good. And Williams puts up the jumper. Kennedy comes down with the board and is fouled. So Williams from that corner seems to be a little off, Dave, but from the right corner she's been very hot.
Well, she shot a couple of, sorry Ross, but she shot a couple of bad shots. She's been just putting them up, her 10th shot of the ball game. And she's been her all offense so far for the Millionaires. Right now, I missed a foul shot from Maureen Kennedy. She's at 59% foul shoot.
And the second free throw is good, giving Williamsport a 4-point lead. Mason checks back in quickly for Fagan. It's just giving Mason a little bit of a breather there. She seemed a little winded. Whitemarsh is going with the same 5 with the exception of that brief 20-second or so Fagan interlude. Thomas loops it into Hartnett, drives in, and she's fouled. Fouls on number 50, Michelle Robinson, I believe. Now it's on Melissa Kennedy.
Melissa Kennedy, that's her first.
First personal on Melissa Kennedy. As Plymouth Whitemarsh is doing the right thing, taking it right to the inside of the Williamsport defense, picking up a lot of personal fouls here early on Williamsport. And when not getting the fouls, they've been able to get some pretty easy baskets underneath. Right now, though, they have to try to stop the careless turnovers that they have had trying to get the ball up off the press, and also try to stop Williamsport from scoring, who have been able to work the ball well outside and inside thus far in the first half. 3:30 left to go here in the first half. Hartnett will be shooting her second free throw to try to cut it to 24-22. Round and no good, 24-21 it remains. Doreen Mosher is in there now for Williamsport, and she's controlling the ball handling chores. Aline with the hand on the ball there, but it picked up quickly by Karen DeLulo. Michelle Robinson, back to DeLulo, bounce pass to Terry Williams, who's been in there quite a bit here in the first half with 10 points. Pass into Melissa Kennedy. The layup is no good, and Hartnett comes away with it. Kennedy had the position there, but the layup just too strong. And Hartnett able to get the rebound. Mason from just outside the paint scores, cuts it to 1. Brenda Mason and Debbie Hartnett doing a fine job thus far here in the first half.
She just buried that shot. A lot of confidence she showed right there. Look for a lot more shooting from Brenda.
Both teams not lacking in confidence to put up the ball. As Terry Williams again drives, puts it up, and is fouled. Terry Williams, and the main offensive weapon thus far for Williamsport. She's not bashful at all to put it up. Sue Marks picks up the first personal, her first personal, and the team's third.
Ross Williams had high point totals this year of 18 points, been highest scorer for the Millionaires 5 times. So she's quite a young ball player out there.
Very high arcing jumper that she has there, and her free throws are go very highly up there. She has a very high arc to her ball, and the first one was in and around and no good. Second one bounces off the back of the rim, and we have a foul, loose ball, I believe, on Maureen Kennedy.
Personal foul on number 41, Maureen Kennedy, her
second personal foul. So she picked it up there trying to get the rebound, pushing underneath as the ball bounced out off the back of the rim. 24-23, Williamsport leads.
That's the
and we'll have 1-1 this way.
7th foul on Williamsport. They should be in the penalties soon, I believe. But we talked earlier about foul trouble. And but mainly about Colonials can't get in foul trouble. But the same goes for Williamsport. They are 8 players deep, but when you lose one player, confidence kind of goes. The lack of chemistry is not there. So we'll have to watch for that.
Here's Harder at the line again. 1-1 is her first is good. So Williamsport with 2:30 left in the half are over the limit in personal fouls, so Plymouth Whitemarsh will be shooting 1-1 from here on out for the rest of the half. 2:30 left to go. The game is tied at 24. Plymouth Whitemarsh attempting to regain the lead they had at 12-6 in the first quarter, which Williamsport then ran off 10 unanswered points to take the lead at the end of the first quarter, 16-12. Right now it's 24 apiece. Hartnett puts it through to give the Colonials the lead, 25-24.
That's her 11th point of the ball game. She leads the Colonials in all scores.
Terry Williams into the center, DeLulo, bounce pass to Robinson, pump fake, and she got Thomas up in the air and drew the foul. So Michelle Robinson, with the pump fake, drew Thomas into committing the personal. And Robinson will go to the foul line for her first. No, she won't go to the foul line, as Plymouth Whitemarsh is not over the penalty. Air ball there from Terry Williams. But it's good hustling play there by Natalie White, saves it. But Colonials come away with it. Thomas leading the fast break, tries to get the Hartnett, who catches the ball and puts it up in the same motion, no good. And Williamsport comes down with the ball, but travels. DeLulo came down with the rebound, but fell to the ground. Her feet went up and down, and she traveled. 25-24. Colonials have the ball and the lead.
And what's an alley-oop for Hartnett there, waiting for her to come down and dunk it.
Mason from far out, clanks off the front of the rim, and Williamsport comes away with it. Pushing it up is Natalie White. Good behind the back dribble. Tries to bounce it into Tammy Dickey, but it's picked off in the center. Good defense in the center there by the Colonials, and Thomas comes out. Aline dribbles into the center, puts up the short jumper and scores. Tanya Aline.
Only a sophomore, Ross. Well, poised, confident, strives in the middle. All the big seniors there, and she just puts it up for the easy 2.
That could be an added factor in the Colonials' offense if she's able to drive into the center there and go in among the bigger girls. Mason with some good defense knocks the pass away from DeLulo. 27-24. Plymouth Whitemarsh with a 3-point lead. 1:24 left to go in the first half. White walking around the perimeter. This chance of defense ring out here at Hershey Park Arena. DeLulo, turnaround jumper, around and no good, bounces off Mason's head. DeLulo comes away with the rebound, and Mason with a good defensive play, ties her up, jump ball.
Good aggressive hustle by Brenda Mason. She knew where the ball is. She just turned around, saw something orange, grabbed it, and caused a jump ball.
Sort of lost track of the rebound there as the ball came off her head. DeLulo with a good hustle picked it up, and Mason, good defensive play there, stopping an easy layup. Mason wins the tap easily, gets it to Hart net. Minute to go here in the first half. Colonials with a 3-point lead, trying to get 2 more here. Thomas drives in, gets out to Marks, who's all alone there, but she decides not to take it. 50 seconds left. Colonials might want to wait for the last shot. Aline trying to wheel in on Williams. Thomas puts up the jumper. No good. Gets her own rebound, but a foul is called underneath on Mason, I believe.
Substitution for 24, Natalie White returns to the lineup for Williamsport.
Brenda Mason commits the foul there, trying to battle for position underneath.
Ross, the only way we can compare these two teams is the Downingtown games. Both teams have played Downingtown. Unfortunately, the Colonials lost to them, and a surprising loss during the districts. Put them out of the districts. They were favored to be in the finals, and very upsetting. On the other hand, the Millionaires beat Downingtown by a score of 49-41 by 8 points. So you could say that the Millionaires come here with an edge against Colonials, but thus far the Colonials have taken some strong, have a 3-point lead with 40 seconds to go to halftime, and it's going to disprove the theory maybe of the matchup.
DeLulo hits the first free throw, 27-25. Williamsport comes into the game ranked second in the entire state, Dave, behind only Altoona, who's playing in the Western Finals against Beaver Falls tomorrow evening. DeLulo misses the second. Marks gets hammered underneath, but is able to control it anyway. 27-25 with 30 seconds left to go here in the first half. Hope to hear from Plymouth Whitemarsh coach Bob Koch at the half and hear his thoughts on how his team is playing. I'm sure he's reasonably happy. His Colonials have played a pretty good game thus far. Williamsport also hanging very tough. Mason inside, draws the foul. No, they call offensive. Good D there by Natalie White. I believe it was Natalie White that drew the charge there on Mason. Offensive foul, great defensive play.
She leaned in with her left shoulder and went up with the shot. Questionable call. If you're her coach, you don't like to see it called. If you're the opposing coach, you love it. Questionable call can go either way.
8 seconds left. They're going to have to hurry. DeLulo pumps, puts it up, puts up an air ball. Marks comes down with it. With 1 second left, that'll be it. So at the half, the Plymouth Whitemarsh Lady Colonials have a 2-point lead, 27-25. Well played first half, Dave. Not many turnovers. We've seen 2 very meticulous offenses, knowing what they want to do. Plymouth Whitemarsh getting the ball inside effectively, which is what they want to do. Williamsport has been able to try to pull the Colonials out of their zone with some good outside shooting by Terry Williams.
Well, Ross, 1-1 in quarters. Williamsport took the first one 16-12, but PW came back, overpowered the Millionaires 15-9 the second. High scores, Williams thus far 12 points, came out soaring. Towards the end of the middle of the second quarter, she didn't show us much though. Hartnett though has been strong with 11 points for her. Mason strong on the boards, also with 9 points. Good all-around game for both all-league players.
As we said with Plymouth Whitemarsh, it's been a little bit of a disappointing season. They were expected to contend for districts and for their lead, losing both to Upper Dublin, who was eliminated earlier in the state championships in an upset. But what it all comes down to is the state championships is still a reachable goal, as they're in the semifinals. A victory over Williamsport will put them into the final versus the winner of the Beaver Falls Altoona game. And right now it seems like we're going to have a good second half matchup.
Well, it's a little ironic, Ross. PW beat Upper Dublin, District 1 champs during the regular season. They beat Mannheim in overtime, District 2 champs, by 3 points. They beat CBWS, they destroyed CBWS at the start of the season, the first game, by over 20, and they beat them the last game by 16. And now they're playing Williamsport, the District 4 champs. It'd just be great if they could beat them, and it'd just be like a gloriful story.
As we said, Plymouth Whitemarsh going into the locker room up by 2. Coach Kosh must be pretty happy to see that, but we should have a very tight second half. Williamsport, as we said, has the experience. They're not going to come out in the second half flat by any stretch of the imagination. 7,000 fans here, very entertained by the first half of today's game. We'll be right back after this short break. We're back awaiting the start of the second half. At a minute and a half away from the start. 27-25 Colonial lead here, approaching the beginning of the third quarter. Dave, before we go through a scoring recap, we'd like to now go down to the court with Brian Dempsey and Coach Bob Koch of Plymouth Whitemarsh.
I'm here with Coach Koch, and Coach Koch, in the first half you played pretty well. Is there anything in the second half you'd like to change?
We're going to have to do a much better job on the defensive part of the game. We're giving up too many points. First half, 24 points is a lot. Offensively, we have to stop. We have to convert the ball. We're making too many turnovers, and we're going to have to do the job on the foul line. We're shooting 58% for the half on the foul line. We're missing too many easy shots. So on the foul line, correct the turnovers, do a much better job of getting back on defense.
Okay, is there anything you're going to do to stop Williams in the second half? Or
we're going to be more conscious of that as a shot area for sure, but that's a plus for us right now. She's the one that's doing all the shooting, so if we can stop her, hopefully we're going to be successful.
And how about Williamsport's delay game? They started off and they pulled that out.
That's definitely a problem. I don't like it, but as long as you're up, they can't play it. And that's the important part right now. We've got to stay up in the game, keep away from the delay game.
Okay, thank you, and good luck in the second half.
Ken.
Also, I'd like to add some comments on the first half that I saw. Bringing the ball up for PW with the full court pressure was a problem. Tanya Aline had trouble bringing it up when she brought it up, and they also had trouble passing the ball in the backcourt. So what I think they should be doing is giving the ball to Sue Thomas. They've been doing it all year, and she's been doing it the job against Upper Dublin. So I think on the full court pressure, they should do that. And also, I think that Williamsport did a good job of substituting players, and that might be a factor later on in the game. Ross and Dave?
Thanks, Brian. Dave, let's run through the scoring recap of the first half very quickly as we're getting prepared to start here in the third quarter.
Williamsport practically half of the points for Williamsport Millionaires. She had 12. Maureen Kennedy had 5, Melissa Kennedy 4, and Delulu and Dickey with 1 point each. Mason had 9 and Hartnett 11 for the Colonials, combined for 20 points. Over 3/4 of the Colonials' points. Second half action, we're going to have to look for Hartnett down low, as we will have to look for Mason too down low.
Mason, Hartnett, Aline, Thomas, and Marks, the same starting 5 for the Colonials. DeLulo, Dickey, the 2 Kennedys, and White for Williamsport. Thomas comes down with the tap. The pass there, Hartnett loses sight of it, and lets it go out of bounds. And Hartnett maybe not expecting it, or maybe just losing it a little carelessly there, and the ball is out of bounds. So we're set for a very exciting second half. The winner of this on to the state finals. So we should see a lot of intensity here, Dave.
PW again in a 1-2-2 defense with Marks and Mason down low, Hartnett and Thomas on wings, and Arlene out at the point.
Right now, Natalie White controlling it. Gets it back out to Melissa Kennedy, into the center to Maureen Kennedy. She puts it up and scores.
You have to at least put a hand in her face. Ross ain't even attempt to block the shot or disrupt her at all.
Thomas, an excellent job of breaking the pressure there to Hartnett. Misses it, and a jump ball as Hartnett follows up her own rebound and ties up Maureen Kennedy. Sue Thomas, an excellent job there in the center, breaking through the 2 trapping defenders, getting it ahead to Hartnett, who took it to the hoop, missed and got her, and tied up the ball on the rebound.
Maureen Kennedy, the leading rebounder for the Millionaires, had over 220 rebounds, and we saw her grab a rebound and force a jump ball.
Excellent play there by Aline as she bounced it into Marks, and we'll see it again. Marks, the basket was no good, but she drew the foul. She thought it would be a 3-point play, but the referee called the foul before her shooting motion had begun. Thomas dribbles to her left, looks, puts up the jumper and scores. Sue Thomas puts the Colonials back up by 2. Nice move there by Suzanne Thomas. Melissa and Maureen Kennedy passing it there back to White and to Dickey out front. 29-27, Plymouth Whitemarsh lead. Bounce inside to Maureen Kennedy. Good defense, puts up the shot. Thomas comes down with the rebound for the Colonials. Good defense there, forced Kennedy into a off-balance shot that was an air ball. Thomas came away with it. Hartnett faking the pass, putting up the shot, rolling it around the front of the rim and good. Debbie Hartnett giving the Colonials a 4-point lead. She's been able to hit that shot very effectively the last 2 games. Dave has been the key offensive weapon. The score on your screen 31-27 Plymouth Whitemarsh.
You're doing an excellent job on offense, picking for one another, and PW's been able to drive the lane a great deal. Either the Millionaires are going to have to go to a zone-type defense, or they're going to have to stop that middle.
Maureen Kennedy missed. The rebound was brought down by the Colonials, and Suzanne Thomas brings it up, wheels into the paint and scores. Suzanne Thomas, with 4 points here in the second half, gives the Colonials their biggest margin, ties the biggest margin of 6, 33-27. Colonials start out strong here. Swarming D, shot by Dickey is good. Tammy Dickey puts in the jumper. And Williamsport seems to have some good range. If they're able to hit their outside, they're going to have to be able to hit their outside shots, as they haven't been able to get inside very effectively. The rebounding has been pretty much dominated by the Colonials. 33-29, Plymouth Whitemarsh leads. They get the ball to Thomas. Thomas loops the ball ahead, but it's stolen away by Melissa Kennedy. Ahead to White, who pulls up with the jumper. It's way short. Might have been partially blocked, and Hartnett comes down with the rebound.
PW controlling the game is going to have to slow things down right now. Let Williamsport comes toward them. They have to be the aggressor, Williamsport. They're down 4.
Pass inside there by Thomas to Hartnett. She was underneath, but she sort of tripped over the fallen body of Melissa Kennedy and threw the ball up and hit the underside of the rim. No call there. There wasn't anything really wrong. It's just that Hartnett tripped over the sprawling body of Melissa Kennedy. Here's Terry Williams back in the game. Her jumper's off. Rebound by Melissa Kennedy. She banks it in and around it. No good. And Aline picks up the ball as it bounced off a few potential rebounding hands. So two close range shots there missed by Williamsport. You can't afford that. Melissa Kennedy came down with a good offensive rebound and couldn't get the ball to fall. Then the ball was squirted out to Aline, brought out, and a timeout was called. 33-29 with 4:35 left to go in the third quarter. The Colonials lead it by 4.
Coach Koch with assistant coach Tom Ferris talked things over before they head to the timeout. Done an excellent job in the second half. Williams surprisingly didn't start the second half. She had 12 points in the first. Came out, the first jump shot she took, 20 feet out, but she missed it. Maybe she had a hot spot in the first half, but can't come back and do the same in the second. That'd be a great advantage to the PW because that was her only threat.
Melissa and Maureen Kennedy have done a pretty decent job thus far. They might want to try to get it inside of them. Maureen Kennedy comes into the game with a 13-point scoring average that leads the Lady Millionaires. She's also their leading rebounder. So she's usually who they've gone to for a consistent scoring threat, but she hasn't been too much of a factor. Thus far here in the game, it's been Terry Williams leading the Lady Millionaires. 33-29, Colonial leads.
You see a replay of the last series. Williams puts up the jump shot, misses. Maureen Kennedy comes down to the rebound. She can't hit it. Tapped out. Solid lead.
Back to live action. Suzanne Thomas dribbles around the perimeter, gets it into Mason, who brings it back out. Tenacious defense now by Williamsport. They've gone into a heavier man-to-man, and it pays off as Terry Williams gets the ball and is fouled by Mason. It might be in foul trouble. That's 3 on Mason.
Personal foul called on number 15, Brenda Mason. That's her third, the team's first of the period.
First team foul in Colonials in the half, but a big foul in Mason, picking up her third there. And we saw Williamsport right there come out very tough on D there. They seem to be swarming all over, getting a little more energy. And that'll pose a problem for the Colonials. Terry Williams not at all afraid to put up the ball. Misses there, but the rebound by Dickey is up and good.
Ross, Mason didn't box out very well at all in that series, and she has to box out. She might be taller and quicker, but she has to do the job.
33-31 Colonials. Hartnett driving in the middle. The basket is no good, and they call the blocking underneath on DeLulo. The crowd doesn't like it. They thought it was offensive, but she did have the position. We might be able to see that one again. Foul DeLulo is her second. Hartnett will go to the line shooting 2.
Questionable call there. The fans didn't like it. The boos were shot all over the arena. She might have had position, but again, that's the kind of call where it's questionable. It can go either way.
Fagan checks in for Mason with 3 personals, probably just to give her a breather. I doubt she'll be out for very long. 3:50 to go here in the third period. Colonials by 2 with Hartnett at the line. Hits the first.
She's 6 for 9 from the line, Ross.
That's one of the things Brian brought up at halftime, was Coach Koch was unhappy with his foul shooting, 50-some% in the first half at the charity strike. And they'll try to improve that here in the second half. Hartnett misses. You can see that foul again here, real quick.
You'll see on your screen, she gets position, she leans back, and she might have been moving.
I don't know, Dave. It looked like a questionable call. I think that might have been an offensive. Very questionable. Could have gone either way. You're right in that. Melissa Kennedy passes over to Dickey, back to Terry Williams, who looks ready to shoot, but thinks better of it this time. Tries to pass, and it's a kick on Thomas.
Well, Thomas in the first half let Williams have that outside shot, and she stood right around the paint, foot or 2 outside. But this time, Thomas comes right out, puts her hands right in Williams' face, and says, "I dare you to shoot it."
Inbound will be White. No pressure there by the Colonials. 3-point lead for the Plymouth Whitemarsh, 34-31 with 3:18 left. Debbie Hartnett denying the ball to Maureen Kennedy with a nice defensive play there. 34-31. White will get inbound. Dickey and Melissa Kennedy. Dickey gets it into Maureen Kennedy, but a lead with a nice defensive play, knocks it off the hands of Maureen Kennedy, and Plymouth Whitemarsh gets control. Good defensive play there by Tanya Lead.
Oh, we see a lot of substitutions by Williamsport, and do you think that could hurt them, Ross? I mean, players come in and out, could they get a little cold?
Well, Dave, that might be the case, but they've done it all year very successfully. And I think they're pretty much used to working with each other and coming in and out, so I don't really think that that's too much of a factor. Great play there. Fagan puts up the jumper, no good. Marks with a great hustle, got it into Fagan, who missed the jumper. Good hustling play there by the Colonials. 2:40 to go in the third. Quick pass into Marie Kennedy, who pumps, puts it up, no good. Ball's batted out to a lead. Marie Kennedy with good position there, but good pump fake brought her defenders into the air, but she couldn't convert it. Aline comes down with it. Aline drives, tries to get into Hartnett. Stolen away, and Hartnett commits the foul, reaching in on Dickey. Mason's had her rest, she's back in.
Millionaires playing great defense. They switch off with one another when they pick. Good man-to-man defense. We haven't seen that much this year in the girls' basketball. We usually see the zone. The only team was Upper Dublin, also a quick team, with that quick, flashy guard, Jane Catanzaro. And she proved to be a good man-to-man defensive player.
Terry Williams checks back in the game for the Lady Millionaires, as does Mason. Hartnett only her first personal, so she's not in any difficulty. 2:10 left to go here in the third. Ball goes off Williams' hand, and they don't seem to be that sharp in this third period, Dave. A couple of unforced turnovers here at the last few minutes have hurt the Millionaires. PW has not been very sharp on the offensive the last few minutes and haven't been able to put up any kind of margin. 3-point lead for the Colonials. One thing that was very sportsmanlike that we are pleased to see. Upper Dublin, who defeated the Colonials in twice this year in 3 meetings, including winning the district, including winning the league, but were eliminated in states in an upset. Wish the Colonials good luck as Hartnett pops in the jumper. She has outstanding range, puts the Colonials up by 5, but Upper Dublin, as I was saying, the girls team who have been arch enemies with the Colonials this year, sent them a letter wishing them good luck in the states. Exactly the kind of thing you'd like to see in high school basketball, where sometimes everything's taken very, very seriously. Mason comes away with the loose ball there. She runs into a Williamsport player. Ball goes out of bounds, and Williamsport retains control. That could have been a big break there for the Colonials. We'll be able to see that last jumper here by Hartnett.
Substitution number 41.
See Thomas driving down the center of the court. She passes over to Marks. One-handed, left-handed pass to Hartnett, and she cans the jumper.
Great play there by Marks on the pass. With her left hand passing it to Hartnett. Dickey pump fakes, pops, and scores. Tammy Dickey asserting herself here in the second half. Cuts it to 3. Minute and a half left to go here in the third period.
Ross, we're seeing a lot of turnovers, a lot of bad passes that we didn't see in the first half. Fatigue may play a role right now.
Thomas pass to Mason, breaking to the hoop, gets in there, misses the layup, and Maureen Kennedy comes down with it. Mason has to be mad at herself for missing that one. But she was on the run. Working inside is Maureen Kennedy. She had good position. She misses. Put up by Dickey from close range inside the paint. She misses. So Williamsport having a little trouble the whole entire game from inside the paint, missing a lot of easy shots. 36-33 with under a minute to go. Couldn't cut the deficit to 1. Crowd relatively quiet right now. Is very partisan Carlisle crowd. He's here to view the next game of the doubleheader.
Oh, a tough call right there. Sue Marks was forced out of bounds, it appeared, but the ref said she dribbled. It was her own fault, and Williamsport retains the ball.
45 seconds to go in the third. Williamsport with a chance to cut the PW lead to 1. Bounce pass into Maureen Kennedy. Looked like steps there, Dave, but nothing called, and she converts to cut the lead to 1. I think there had to be a little bit of shuffling of the feet there. If we had a replay, I think it would be pretty clear. There's a walk. Hartnett walks, and Williamsport, with 30 seconds left, has a chance to take the lead.
Well, we've seen the same 5 players out there for the Colonials all game, with the exception of the substitution of Sharon Fagan, just for a brief moment. So the Colonials do look tired. We've seen a couple walking calls and turnovers. They have to get some rest. Maybe a timeout will be good for them.
Terry Williams from way out bangs it in and gives the Lady Millionaires a 1-point lead. Their first lead of the second half. They have just stayed with the Colonials, very tenacious, and now have retaken the lead, and we have a double dribble on Suzanne Thomas, and the Colonials are being a little rattled. 11 seconds to go here in the third period. The Lady Millionaires won't rush things here, take the last shot. They're up by a point with a chance to increase their lead to 3. White dribbles into the open, misses it, and the rebound is by Zalulo is for naught as the buzzer goes off, ending the third period. And Lady Millionaires have come back from a 4-point deficit at the half to take a 1-point lead, 37-36, with 8 minutes to go in regulation. Dave, we look like we have a real barn burner on our hands. Might be an advantage for PW. As we said earlier at the beginning of the telecast, PW wasn't a real barn burner earlier, and going into overtime versus Mannheim and coming away with a 3-point victory at Mannheim. Let's see the last shot of the quarter as White puts it up off the front of the rim, and no good. 37-36, Williamsport lead, as they had a very good third quarter. They seemed to be struggling midway through the third quarter, Dave, but at the end, as they did the end of the first period, they were very strong, rallying PW and forging to a 1-point lead.
Well, they won the quarter 12-9 with some good last-minute outside shooting. Williams canned a jumper, and they proved to be a very aggressive team. They didn't give up. They kept fighting back, and Dickey scored 6 points, other 12. So players have to come out. They were a little tired, a lot of turnovers. Hopefully in the fourth quarter, this is it. This is crunch time.
Be sure to stay with us. This is the fourth quarter, 37-36, 1-point lead for Williamsport. Entering the fourth, the tap by Mason is good to Thomas. It is Mason, Marks, Hartnett, Thomas, and Aline. The same 5 all game have been in there. For Williamsport, it's White, Dickey, the 2 Kennedys, and DeLulo. Pass inside to Hartnett. She's blocked. She's underneath. No good. Mason battling, knocks it into the hands of Melissa Kennedy. White brings it up quickly, bounces it into the hands of Sue Thomas, who's run into, no call, passes over to Dickey underneath, and she dribbles back out. Fast action here at the start of the quarter. And looks like Thomas got bumped into there. The ball was knocked away. No call. 7:20 left to go here in the game. 37-36 Williamsport. They're going to go into a stall, bring PW out. Aline starting to seem a little tired. PW not having a strong bench is going to have to stay with the same five with the possible addition of Fagan out there to give someone a breather. Williamsport in no hurry.
Good move by Coach Frank Scarfo. Brings him out to the stall. PW will not be assessed technical because they do have at least one player out there, Tanya Arlene, being the chaser. And now hopefully they'll try to execute.
White now dribbles into the center. Coach Koch said at the half he did not like this type of thing, and he's seeing it. 6:45 left to go in the game. Williamsport by 1. Very smart, very tenacious team. Playing a great game in terms of doing exactly what they want to do, trying to control the tempo on PW. They've hung with them the whole time. When they seemed rattled, they had enough composure to get back in it, and now they lead by 1. They've held the ball now for over a minute. 6:19. There's a steal. Thomas comes away with it. And she'll slow things as she was caught 1-on-2. The bounce pass into Marks, no good. Hartnett comes away with the rebound, picked up by Thomas. She puts it up, and it's good. Thomas puts the Colonials back up by 1. I doubt we'll see Williamsport stall the ball now. 38-37. Plymouth Whitemarsh leads with under 6 to go in the game. The winner of this to advance to the state finals.
Well, they have to attack now. They can't stall when they're down.
Another great play by Ali, knocks the ball into the hands of Hartnett. Careless passes by Williamsport. And PW's tight D has helped him right here. There's the pass by Thomas, stolen away by Kennedy. She has the presence of mind to dribble and stop the walk, and then a foul on Hartnett. Some good D by both teams right there, and a nice play by Maureen Kennedy.
Well, substitution, Sharon Fagan comes in for Tanya Arlene. She is very tired and short-winded. With the Colonials with the lead right now, Williamsport has to attack. If they're losing, they cannot go into the stall. The leading team has the right to stay back on their zone defense.
38-37, Plymouth Whitemarsh leads. Ball goes into Maureen Kennedy, puts it up, no good. Marks gets hammered from behind by Terry Williams. The foul will be on Terry Williams as Marks had the position and Williams hammered her from behind.
Number 21, Terry Williams, that's her second, the team's third.
Plymouth Whitemarsh can't boast the enormous crowds that schools like Carlisle can here at Hershey Park Arena, but they have been very vocal. 38-37, Plymouth Whitemarsh lead with 5:20 to go in the third. Aline is back in. Thomas gets it to Aline and brings it up past half court. Stops and gives it to Suzanne again. Thomas dribbling with the right over to Hartnett. Makes her move back to Thomas, wide open for the jumper. It's good. Suzanne Thomas.
She has 8 points in the second half, and she's been the key for PW.
There's Suzanne Thomas's father on the right.
Hartnett has been virtually shut down the second half and has been left up to Sue Thomas, the quick and shifty point guard of PW.
And she has responded, Dave. We haven't seen her really been that much of an offensive force this year, not with Mason and Hartnett. But Suzanne Thomas picking up the slack right here, doing an excellent job of ball handling and also putting in some well-needed points. 40-37, Plymouth Whitemarsh by 3 with 4:50 to go here in the game. Ball knocked away by Marks to Hartnett, and now Plymouth Whitemarsh might want to hold on to the ball for a little.
Crucial play could end up to kill Williamsport. That could be the determining blow.
Pass into Mason quickly. Mason scores. Plymouth Whitemarsh up by 5. Timeout called by Coach Frank Scarfo of Williamsport as the Colonials have rebounded from the 1-point deficit to take a 5-point lead, 42-37. Let's see a replay.
Thomas over to Hartnett, post up with her back to the glass. I talked about earlier. They love to have her back against the glass, go up, makes a bank shot, and gives them a 5-point lead. And
now we'd like to go down to the floor to our on-the-floor correspondent, Brian Dempsey.
I think the two keys so far for PW here in the fourth quarter with their 5-point lead is Suzanne Thomas and Debbie Hartnett. First, Debbie Hartnett, she just has an incredible instinct for the basket. I don't think you can say it enough. Wherever she gets the ball, she shoots it well, and I now have her down for 16 points. And Suzanne Thomas has done a fantastic job bringing the ball up, offside rebounding, and does a good job defensively, causing a couple turnovers. And in the second half, she scored 8 points after not having any in this first half. So back to you, Dave and Ross.
Thanks, Brian.
Ross, that was Mason's first 2 points of the second half, and it came at a crucial time when they really needed it. Could be the icing on the cake.
I think it's easy to say that Williamsport needs a basket here very badly. 4:20 left to go. Plymouth Whitemarsh with a 5-point lead, looking to earn their first ever state final berth. The pass is too high. The pass by Natalie White is too high for Terry Williams, and the Colonials will inbound. They'll be very patient, I'm sure, Dave, not trying to force anything. 4:12 to go here in the game.
Well, PW fans are ecstatic. Their section is going nuts here.
One of the key things for the Colonials was shown very clearly by that last replay as Hartnett dribbles up by herself, gives off to Mason. Fortunate there, they didn't have to fast break, and they brought it out smartly there. But they've been able to get it inside to Mason very effectively, which they were not able to do versus Mannheim 2 games ago. And not until the second half, and they had to claw back from a 13-point first half deficit. They were not able to get the ball inside until the second half of that game. When teams have been able to shut the inside connection of Mason and Hartnett down, they've been able to stop PW. Williamsport has not been able to do that here in the fourth period. Mason is called for the personal foul there, I believe, and that will be her fourth.
Unsurprised, Ross. PW's attacking with a 5-point lead and just under 4 minutes to go. I'm surprised they aren't going to stall, try to wind the clock down. But no, they're going right at them. They want to try to make this win as much as possible.
And Mason commits her fourth personal foul, and she's going to have to be careful now. 3:30 left to go in the game. Williamsport desperately needs a basket here. Passing to Kennedy, a lean all over, but she's able to get it out. Back into Kennedy, good move. Takes it to the hoop and scores. Great move there by Maureen Kennedy. 42-39, big clutch basket by Kennedy. Mason getting trapped, the ball thrown over Thomas's head, but Alina's there to pick it up. She's getting a lot of pressure. They get it to Thomas, dribbles around left to Marks in the corner. Getting a lot of pressure, throws it out, it's stolen, but Mason picks it up, batted out of her hands, and White comes down with it with 3 minutes to go in the game. Williamsport's defense here, forcing some turnovers.
It's not over yet, Ross. PW making some crucial turnovers.
They are not handling the pressure very well, Dave. They're making some very bad passes. They seem to be a little rattled when Williamsport puts that extra waving of the arms and extra verve into their defense. 42-39, Williamsport leads. They're pushing it around the perimeter. Terry Williams, who had the hot hand in the first half, dribbles into the clear, shoots and scores, and it's down to 1. So the Colonials, who had the ball and the lead at 5, now see their deficit drip to 1 again. It's been the pattern in all 4 quarters where they've had about a 5-point lead and see it drop by the end of the quarter.
16 points for Williams, a hot hand.
There the pass is over. Marks with a good hustle, saves it in, but it's saved into the hands of the Williamsport defender. They call timeout. They have the ball down by 1 with 2.5. A great comeback by Williamsport.
Well, those looping passes don't help. Maybe they should have Hartnett throwing this ball. She made some baseball passes. She's got the strength to throw it hard and long, but it's killing them so far. Those looping passes, and they're very high, and the quick team of Williamsport's just running under them and taking the steal.
Some crucial turnovers there by the Colonials. The Williamsport defense has risen to the occasion. They've cut the deficit to 1 point, and they have the ball now with a timeout. 2:30 left to go here in the fourth. Let's go down to Brian Dempsey on the floor.
With PW regaining the lead most of the second half so far, Williamsport has not been able to use their stall tactic. And as you heard at halftime, Coach Koch was worried about that because PW hadn't really had a definite plan on the way to stop that. And with a chance to take the lead here, the Colonials have to make sure they do not take that lead and use that stall game because it has been a problem for PW. Ross and Dave?
Both teams still in the huddle. They're breaking up right about now. Maureen Kennedy and Melissa Kennedy have done a good job getting it inside. And Terry Williams, again, putting the needed jumper through. She's been hot and cold. Dave, she's either been putting up an air ball and a wild shot, or she's been just banging it right home. She's really provided a big offensive spark. Now Williamsport, we'll see what they elect to do. They've been able to get it into Maureen Kennedy a few times in the paint. They're down by 1 with 2:20 left to go. Out front to DeLulo. Back to Dickey.
Look for him to go into Maureen Kennedy. They do.
There's Maureen Kennedy. She tries to get in. She can't. The ball dribbles off Williams' leg. Aline goes banging into her. We got a jump, and Aline looks hurt. Aline and Williams crashed into each other. I think their heads clashed, and Aline is hurt. Williams seems to be all right. She's holding her head, but Aline looks very shaken.
That'd be a tremendous blow to the Colonial Ball Club. What they need right now is guards to bring the ball up court, and Aline is one of the best to go the length of the court.
Aline really shaken up there. She took a sharp hot to the head. Let's see it again. You can see her crying out there. With the presence of mind, she held on to the ball, drew the jump. She's given up maybe an inch. Looked like to be about the same height, so we'll see. This is a big jump. 42-41 with 2:08 left to go in the game.
5'5", both about 5'5" in height.
Jump is won by the Colonials. Thomas comes down with it. And now we'll see what PW does. 2 minutes left to go. They have the lead by a point. Timeout by Thomas is called as White
Thomas
swings around her.
Whitemarsh.
She called a timeout. White tried to reach around and slap the ball away. Thomas throwing the ball down in anger, and White just staring off in that direction. As we said, Dave, we expected it. A lot of intensity right now. So with 1:58 left to go, we should see some hot tempers. 1 point lead. The game has not been out of the 6 point range either way. Williamsport's biggest lead has been 5. PW is led by 6. It's just been a tight game the entire way. With 1:58, Plymouth Whitemarsh leads by 1.
Right there, the PW cheerleaders trying to bring up the fans of PW. The Colonials, with 1:58, might go to a last shot technique. They're up by 1. They don't want to cause any turnovers and give up an easy layup where they have to be forced to make a last basket. I think they're going to go to hard net, maybe down low, and go for the easy 2. No one's guarded her down low thus far. Mason's been hammered by Maureen Kennedy. So we're going to have to look for some crucial coaching decisions right now.
I don't think we'll see anyone leaving their seats right now. 1:58, 42-41. Plymouth Whitemarsh leads in the inbound to Thomas. Brenda Mason has to watch herself. She has 4 personals. They do not want to lose her. That could be a big factor here winding down, where she would pick up a 5th. Thomas winding around the perimeter, being guarded by White. Pass goes to Marks. She's bumped off. She bumps off Kennedy. Pass goes to Thomas. She wheels into the center. Gets it into Brenda Mason, who puts up the jumper and scores. Big shot by Brenda Mason. Turnaround jumper is good, and Colonials forge a 3-point lead with 1:20 left to go.
She's hit 2 big hoops, her 4th point of the half, 11th of the game.
Terry Williams misses the long-range jumper, and Plymouth Whitemarsh comes down with the big rebound. Thomas pushes it ahead to Mason, who does not elect to go to the hoop. And the Plymouth Whitemarsh bench
Timeout. Plymouth Whitemarsh.
erupts, and they call timeout.
Substitution number 44.
44-41 with 1:07 left to go in the game. The Colonials have the ball in the 3-point lead. They might want to hold on to it as long as they can, Dave. Force Williamsport to foul.
I'm sure memories of the Downingtown game are coming to Coach Koch's mind. He can taste victory, but you can't think about just, anything can happen in 1:07. Plenty of time for turnovers. But PW, what they have to do is get the ball, keep attacking, and keep attacking.
1:07 left to go. Plymouth Whitemarsh leads by 3. And probably one of the best girls basketball games this arena has ever seen. Very, very well-played basketball game.
We know that Will Chamberlain played here, scored 100 points here, which is still in the record books of the NBA. But tonight's game, I don't think can even compare to that. It's so exciting here.
Thank you, Dave. 44-41. Both teams preparing to come back onto the court. We'll see who the Plymouth Whitemarsh is going to try to get the ball into the hands of possibly Brenda Mason. She has 4 personals. She's played with 4 personals for the last 2.5 minutes. And she can that turnaround jumper that gave PW the 3-point lead. A basket here would be very big. We'll see if they try to push it in quickly or if they try to hold on to the ball and force Williamsport to foul. Lining up trying to get someone to break. Hartnett having trouble, but she gets it into a lean. Very patient. Thomas cuts around a pick. Guarding the ball very well. Gets double teamed, gets it into Mason, who's wide open. She scores! The Colonials are up by 5. Colonials are up by 5 with 45 seconds. Williamsport's gonna have to score in a hurry. 40 seconds left. Good D, back out to White, who has to put it up. She's short. Marks comes down with it, and it's a tie-up between Marks and Dickey.
Mason has 15. She scores 3 big baskets in the second half. One to put them up by 7. You see right here, puts them up by 5, excuse me. She made one to put them up by 1. She's been amazing here in the second half.
Brenda Mason has done an outstanding job in this game, Dave. She's risen to the occasion. 46-41, Colonials lead with 34 seconds left in the game. We'll have a jump ball in the Williamsport offensive circle.
Thomas, great ball handling, very poised senior out there. This is her last season, down to her final couple of games, and she's playing so very well. 8 points in all in the second half to lead the Colonial surge. She's having a great job ball handling, defensive. Right now, I think we have 3 MVPs with Hartnett 16 points, 15 points for Mason so far, 3 crucial baskets. And right now, Suzanne Thomas.
34 seconds, a long way to go. 5-point lead for the Colonials. 4 seniors for the Colonials that play the entire game. Marks, Thomas, Hartnett, and Mason know that each and every game that they play in the state tournament is their last if they lose. They have that extra intensity here at the end of the game. Mason especially has poured in a few key baskets to give the Colonials a 5-point lead. The basket is tipped out and Williamsport controls. That's what they needed. Dickey puts up the jumper, no good. Thomas comes down with the rebound. And a foul quickly by White.
She puts her hands up. The team is congratulating one another in mid-court, and they taste a sweet victory.
Suzanne Thomas with a big rebound right there. As she was fouled, Williamsport is not in the penalty. They'll probably foul quickly here. Dave tried to get into the 1-on-1 and hope Plymouth Whitemarsh misses from the line. I would expect that. They put the pressure on. There's Terry Williams committing the foul.
Personal foul ball on number 21, Terry Williams. Her 4th.
Williams picks up her 4th personal, the 5th team foul. And now Thomas will be shooting 1-on-1.
Good person to foul. Sue Thomas hasn't gone to the line all day. But then again, she's been a clutch shooter all season. A senior.
White line for the 1-on-1 is number 22, Suzanne Thomas.
And its attendance here is 7,600 fans. It's a packed arena. It's going wild.
You have to look very closely for an open seat, Dave. 24 seconds left. Thomas with a big front end of the 1-on-1. 6-point lead for the Colonials. A foul shot here would give them their biggest lead. And you see the Williamsport bench not at all happy. 24 seconds left. Their season is in dire jeopardy. If the Colonials would win, this is the farthest they have ever gone. They would go into the final to play the winner of Altoona Beaver Falls. They would be the Eastern Pennsylvania state champions if they hold on here. 48-41 with 20 seconds left. And a double dribble is called on Williamsport, and that should do it, Dave. A double dribble there by Dickey, and that ought to do it. The pass is looped ahead to Mason, and she's out in front of the pack. Comes in, scores, and is fouled, and that ought to do it. Mason off bounds behind the hoop, puts up a prayer, and falls. Colonials by 9 with 19 seconds left. She'll shoot a foul shot, and Dave, that'll wrap it up.
Well, Ross, the score is not going to indicate what a great game this is. PW up by 9, a possibility to go up by 10. Look at that shot again. Brenda Mason up, fouled, goes into the underhang, and the basket's good. Great game by Mason. She has 17 right now, and a possibility for 18.
Natalie White there doing all she could to stop Mason. Mason just controlling her body expertly, taking the foul, putting up the shot, and scoring. 9-point lead for the Colonials, their largest. Mason will be shooting try to convert the 3-point play with only 19 seconds left. The the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials will be the Eastern Pennsylvania state champs, Dave.
Take a look at the bench right there. They're all in the huddle. They're psyched. All the players, Tanya Arlene with the bright smile. They're still serious. The 19 seconds will still play tough defense, and they'll play like winners.
Central Bucks West coach, after last Saturday's demolishment of the Central Bucks West by the Colonials, said that the Colonials had an excellent chance. They were the best team he had played this year. They had an excellent chance of winning the state championship. They will be in the finals, Dave, against the winner of Altoona Beaver Falls, a team that, of course, ranked #1 in the state. Possibly their toughest test is yet to come on the road to a possible state championship. Brenda Mason to try to convert the three-point play. With 19 seconds, they will let Williamsport drive down pretty much uncontested, not wanting to stop the clock. Mason drills the free throw, 10-point lead for Plymouth Whitemarsh. Dickey pushes it up to Williams. The ball is stolen away by Thomas, and that'll ice it. Thomas dribbling around, being chased. They commit a useless foul. 7 seconds left. Thomas will go to the line. 10-point lead for Plymouth Whitemarsh with Thomas at the line. The celebrations have begun. Not for Coach Kosh, though. He's still motioning. Not yet permitting himself a smile. There's the thumbs up. But the rest of the Colonial bench ecstatic as they have taken the Plymouth Whitemarsh Lady Colonials basketball team into the state finals for the first time in their history. Now some substitutions. Tammy Freeze is coming, number 25.
Look at right there, the PW fans are all standing up and cheering. That's a great respect for the players. You see everyone now, they're cheering for the girls. Usually during the season, there isn't a lot of attendance, but when they come this far, they deserve a lot of support.
Kate Iyer comes in for the Colonials, along with Phyllis Weedman. Mary Kate Jones checks in. And Karen Mitski will also check in. Brenda Mason. So with 7 seconds left, the Colonials by 10 points. Thomas at the line. They came into the quarter down by a point, Dave. They just did an outstanding job here in the fourth. They forged to a 10-point lead. Thomas at the line to try to make it more. There's no happier man in this building than Coach Bob Kosh, Dave. He saw his team at one point ranked 4th in the state, ranked 2nd in southeastern Pennsylvania at one point. High hopes for a district championship. Went down on an upset loss to Downingtown. They got the seed into the state tournament. And here they are. They'll be playing the state finals. The countdown, 2, 1. The Plymouth Whitemarsh Lady Colonials are going into the finals of the state tournament. They are the Eastern Pennsylvania champions of ladies basketball in the state of Pennsylvania.
Recapping the game, Ross. Brenda Mason, 18 points. Debbie Hartnett, 16 points. Sue Thomas, 10 points. A three-way MVP for the game. On the loser side, a good effort by Williams. She captained the game. The whole game, 16 points, and Maureen Kennedy had 11. Great game. Tomorrow they'll play, or Saturday rather, they'll play the winner of the Altoona game, and it should be a great victory.
On the court, action is not yet, the game is not officially over. Nicole Gallo, who was fouled there with time expiring, cans the foul shot to make the final score. Plymouth Whitemarsh 52, Williamsport 42. As you see it flashing on your screen, the Plymouth Whitemarsh Lady Colonials are the Eastern Pennsylvania champions. They will face the winner of Beaver Falls, Altoona, for the Western. The winner of that is the Western champ. Then on Saturday, they will be playing the state final championship game. Dejected, very dejected faces on Williamsport. They have had an excellent year, Dave. 7 straight District 4 championships. Plymouth Whitemarsh, the victor today by 10 points. Nothing extra can be said about the outstanding job that Coach Bob Koch and the rest of the team has done in bringing the Lady Colonials to the final game. Debbie Hartnett, Brenda Mason, Suzanne Thomas, Sue Marks, and the rest did an outstanding job. They are the finest girls basketball team at Plymouth Whitemarsh.
Ross, PW, first half, very close game. PW won the first half by a score of 27-25. Although the second half they came out, they just dominated from the start. Making it close in the fourth quarter was Williams and Maureen Kennedy, but it ended up that PW won that second half 25-17. Great victory for Coach Koch. He's done very well at Archbishop Kennedy, but this has to be his greatest thrill in his coaching career.
Plymouth Whitemarsh has one game left, Dave. The state championships will be almost an impossible dream come true if they could go into Saturday's game and pull off another victory. They've defeated the second-ranked team in the state, the first-ranked team in the state, possibly yet to come. Waiting the outcome as you see Koch hug Sue Thomas on the sideline by the Plymouth Whitemarsh crowd. Coach Koch,
big sigh of relief for him. Getting to the finals is just great. Win or lose, the PW Colonials are champions.
So as we view the Plymouth Whitemarsh bench and fans, all very ecstatic, we will leave the Hershey Park Arena with the final score. Plymouth Whitemarsh Lady Colonials 52, the Williamsport Lady Millionaires 42. The Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials are the Eastern Pennsylvania champions. For Brian Dempsey, Dave Auerbach, I'm Ross Schuffelberger, wishing you good night from sold-out Hershey Park Arena, where again, the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials have pulled off the biggest victory in PW history in the last 15 or 20 years with their win today, 52-42 over Williamsport. They will now go into the state championships. No matter what the outcome of that game, Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials are champions.